Good morning, everyone. I'm home alone and I love it. I've got so much to do. Nope, not taking any medicine today or any time in the future. I just have to pace myself, and that's good enough for me. Not going through what I just went through, thankfully. It didn't go too bad out of control with my knee and my ligaments, right? Yes, and it healed. It's much better already. So I'm going to address something that I just saw. It seems like it's probably, I don't know if it's going to get worse. I have no idea where this is all going to go, but we have no doubt invited some with what we've already had to deal with gang shootings, this and that, young adults just completely out of whack and getting their hands on a gun or whatever and start, yes, killing their own peers. Plus, we've also invited all kinds of things through the border. We just did. That's what happened. Yeah? And there you go. Another shooting in Texas, and more 8 people dead, senseless deaths, and used for a senseless agenda. More fodder for a senseless agenda, in my opinion, because immediately it is people out there again, gun control, gun control. So I have just this to say about it. What is that? Oh, those ticks, huh? But they don't like him right now because he had his treatment, didn't you? Yes, it worked very well. And he didn't show any allergic reaction to it. Not yet. We'll find out. Huh? But so far, so good. Yeah. He's so big. And it's hard to find all the ticks on him. And it was necessary. I don't like to give. I just don't. I have a lot of natural things that I use, like pumpkin's really good for them, for worms and stuff. And so, and the other thing is, he has long hair, so if I pull a tick out, that hurts him, and he's really trying not to get upset, right? But yeah, so this is good. Yeah. Anyway, so every once in a while I have to, yes. With my little dogs, I used to just brush them out and defleed them, and it was fine like that. Huh? He needs a little more, huh? So we're grateful for some stuff out there, right? Sparingly used. Okay. So my question on the video that I saw, I went in, I said, was the gun that this dude had, or guns that dude had, killing these people, illegally purchased, or were they illegal guns? Has there been a study made? And I didn't go and look it up because I already know. I don't have to do that. Most of the crimes with guns committed with legally purchased guns or illegally purchased guns. Oh, well, okay. You can legally purchase a gun and then sell it secondhand, and that becomes an illegal sale, right? Illegal sale and illegal purchase of a gun. Now the gun isn't in the hands of the original owner anymore. Aha, yes, so there is that. So the problem isn't the guns, it's in whose hands they end up illegally, right? Yes, and why do they end up illegally in people's hands? So you can have, if gun control becomes a reality, what are you going to do about that? I don't own a gun. I don't want one because I'm not going to kill anyone. No, I probably would be a casualty when it comes down to it of someone wielding, most likely, an illegal gun. Yes? Uh-huh. So, where is the problem when it comes down to it? And why isn't that addressed? Why is, again, the general public that wouldn't use a gun that's saying 90% of legally purchased guns are for defense, and a possible confrontation with someone. And then too, who's faster? Are you going to be prepared for a gunman who's ready, has everything ready to go, right? Yes, guns are awfully fast once you pull that trigger, right? Are you ready? Are you really ready to be faster than someone who's prepared ahead of time? Well, that's prepared ahead of time. No, you're not. You're not going to go into a store or a mall or anywhere to a concert, and instead of enjoying where you are at, to keep constant vigilant and watching everybody, right? So then like a bodyguard, then everybody with guns would have to also go through a bodyguard training. Yes? Then you can ensure that, or more so, that the percentage goes higher, that you would be faster, you would recognize a problem, right? And then according to that, at gunpoint, not shooting and killing anyone, right? Already, taking them out before, but at gunpoint saying, you better put that down because I was faster, right? Yes? Okay. Are you getting my drift here? Yeah. When the adrenaline gets going in certain situations, even people with the best intentions owning a gun could shoot an innocent person. Yes? Okay. So, there. So if you do own a gun for self-defense, that, make sure that you have the training, all the training that comes with the responsibility of owning a gun. If not, then you're going to be like me, says, well, I hope I'll be protected by heaven, that I don't end up in a situation like that, because again, yes, and most likely I would. I would have to, instead of self-preserving my life, I would try to shield someone else. Yes, yeah, there's just a difference. Again, so it comes to what? It comes down to what? The guns aren't the problem, I have to say. It's true. That is not it. And again, what are you going to do? Gun control is directed towards whom? The ones who legally purchased them. The ones you can go after and say, I know you have a gun because it says right here. Yes? Well, what about all the illegal guns? How are you going to find them in the underground? You can't stop the sales of them. Illegally purchased guns, you can't stop it, can you? And who has those? The citizens just trying to defend themselves? In case? Maybe save a life or two? Taking out the one that's, okay, not, as I said, it's what it is. Or is gun control just going to create another situation where then everyone, good and right, becomes a target for whom? Yes? Okay, just saying. Well, in other countries, don't give me other countries. I guarantee you that you're not getting the whole story there. All right, done. Yes? Yeah. So, just saying. Yes? Yeah. All right. Well, I'd say, I remember, okay, I'm just going to give you this one little thing, not to do with guns, but I thought it was odd that we couldn't do that. Right? Why were we not allowed to keep our surroundings and property safe, right, from being either stolen or invaded to? And that was when we lived in Berkeley. Okay, we had where we lived, it was one of those things. There were some things that happened there, and our street was pretty good, but we had loitering people around, this and that. They weren't bad. They were just looking for easy things to steal. And as I said, we've had people sleeping in our car. I didn't lock the car, because if you lock the car and they somehow figured out how to destroy your lock or break a window, right? Well, they get mad if they can't get in your car. As I say, you're not dealing with people that are all there. So I didn't want that, so I just left the car door open and they could go in. I'd even put a couple dollars in the cup so that, again, rather than inciting anger to snap because there wasn't anything to take, this and then destroy something, right, out of their anger and their frustration and disappointment over not being able to steal anything, I put a couple of dollars in a cup in there for coffee, right, or something. And sure enough, yep, it happened several times. I'd get back out and going, oh my God, who is sleeping in our car? It stinks like hell in here now. And had to clean the car out, this and that. Thankfully, nobody ever peed or pooped in it. But I had this idea. I said to my husband, I said, let's rig the car with electricity. So if they touch it, right, then they get zapped. Right? Well, it turns out that's illegal. Even if the car is sitting in our driveway, far enough away from the sidewalk to snap. And for people to have no reason in the middle of the night to snap to get into our driveway, you weren't allowed to do that. That was against the law. It was against the law to rig your car so that you'd have a little zapper, dog collars, where you have a little thing where you can zap the dogs, if they go too far or this or that, don't stop barking. I think that's so cruel. I would never use anything like that on any of my animals. That's just, no. And you know what? This is one thing with animals. They tolerate a lot of pain. I'm not kidding. It's pretty amazing to me on how they're capable of dealing with pain. But we had a fence for our goats, right? Yes, that had a real low charge on it. It's one of those solar powered ones, not one of those that you hook up to electricity, which are like they can throw you backwards. Yeah, I experienced that. Yes, as a kid. Yeah, it was not illegal in Switzerland to put an electric fence right where all the school children walk past, okay? And they had cows in there, yeah. And I was dumb enough to hold that, touch that one time. And I wanted to see what it felt like. I knew it was wired. I knew it was. And sure enough, it threw me backwards, and my hand hurt, and my arm hurt, and I'm going, well, I'm never going to do that again. Right? But that was fine. So I did that with the goats, and yeah, it worked for a little while. Then the goats kind of realized that this is just a small shot. It was almost like massage for them. So I would see them kind of brushing against it on purpose. But anyway, so there it is. So I said, again, right, I had to find another way, right, in a way to just make sure I didn't have damage on my car with people who wanted what? Yeah, okay. And had to kind of just find that balance. Right? And we were good. We were fine. There was another instance where there was a couple of three of them, 2 or 3 youngsters. Well, they were teenagers, yeah, and they were walking up our street, and they had a big old chain and baseball bats, and they were hitting the cars with it. Just walking up. So here I am going, oh, they're getting close to my car. So here I'm calling 911. I'm saying, hey, we got 3 people here, young people, and they've got this and that, and they're running amok here, okay? And the person, you know what the person said to me on the phone, 911, says, oh, that's you can't just call people running amok, you know what that means? He says, well, I don't know, what would you call it? And said what they were doing. Yeah, they made it all the way up so odd response to someone trying to keep their property and other people's property safe, right, from hoodlums, right? From hoodlums. And that's the response that I got. That was 20, 30 years ago, right? Already. Right? People think things are only happening now when it comes to certain things, right? Yes, yeah. They were happening a long time ago. And when you were calling to get some help, guess what? Yes? Anyway, they managed, they bypassed our car, right? I don't know, maybe because it was really in the dark, and farther into the driveway. I sure wasn't going to go out there with three young people like that with weapons in their hands. They weren't guns, were they? They could have killed me easily with all them. I don't know. What, they were just waiting for people to come out so they could actually kill someone? I don't know. Nobody did. Everybody on our street was smart enough to just, no, Well, anyway, they were able to get all the way up to the end of the street, our block, and we were about a third into it, the block. They managed to go two-thirds more of a block before actually anybody showed up. And then I don't know what happened. I didn't go out and check if they picked him up or whatever. They might have just run off, and that was that. No idea. But the main thing, the response that I got from the 911 operator was, "Are you kidding me?" Oh. So how often, in a way, are calls like that where you're just trying to protect your property against hoodlums, get ignored? Huh? But then you yourself aren't allowed to do anything, right? Yes? Interesting? Yeah. Well, so be it, right? So you find other ways and you hope, try to figure out something else, and you hope that you don't become a casualty. Yeah. Not because gun control or whatever isn't in effect out there. It's because it won't make a difference. It will not make a difference at all. Yeah. Just saying, right? Anyway, but I think most of us who've got proper sense going know that the gun control isn't the issue anyway. Right? That's just a byproduct of two parties fighting. Yes? For what? Power and control or something? No idea what goes on in their heads. Yes? But it isn't doing the common people any good at all. So, had to say that. I guess we'll see where it goes. I got my dogs here. They're my guns. It seems to me that people often are more afraid of dogs than they are of guns, right? Yes. We have a sign out there at our driveway where it says, "Enter at your own risk." Biting dogs at work. Or would they? Yes. Our dogs would. They won't hurt you as long as you behave. If they suddenly would feel danger, well, how do I know? Because I've seen it happening with our dogs. I have to say, whoa, this is kind of cool. Yeah. But they are under voice control, this and that. So that's another good thing, right? But I have to tell you one thing. If people were to come in here and try to attack one of us, I know that with Sissy and I especially, I don't know how they know that we're kind of the weaker ones here or something. Not sure. Not sure how they would react with a guy. But with Sissy and I've seen it. If they tried to get too close with kind of a stance of where dogs sense that, with where they are like with a threatening stance or whatever, they would immediately start to change their behavior and become dangerous to the person. And these are big dogs. We're not talking little lap dogs here. They're big dogs. You got three of them coming at you? Yeah. No matter what, I don't think you're going to win. Yes? Yeah. So, there it is. But otherwise, they're real sweet dogs. No problem. But somehow, that protector instinct is in all three of them. Yeah. Of course, Bo is our lead dog, and he's teaching the other two. And I said, anybody tries to get close to my sissy or the car, no, nope, not happening. So there you go. Right? Yes, yeah. There are some things that come with big dogs, right? Yes. Well, first of all, I don't have ever anybody here by themselves with our dogs that doesn't know them or the dogs know them and just leave. That's a bad idea too, right? Yes. Yeah, well, you never know. Huh? Children. Children are allowed to be around the dogs and pet the dogs, and they love it. The dogs love it. But they are taught when they come here, first of all, either I lock the dogs outside, uh, and then they can't come in the yard, and so the children can play this and that, or we're always there watching, and the children are taught, no, you don't do this, you don't do that, all you get to do is pet them. That's it. And watch. We watch. Nope, don't do that. Nope. Yes, yeah. Why take chances? Again, so what are we going to do? People get hurt by dogs all the time. They do. Children get hurt. They do. By unsupervised dogs. Yes? Okay. Unsupervised children and dogs. Well, you can walk past someone's house, and if the dogs are frenzied enough, doesn't get out, they'll kill someone. Yes? Yeah. All right. There's plenty of stories out there. So, what are we going to do? Dog control? Tell you what I've seen is actually the opposite. Again, in Berkeley, it's a really a liberal city in California. Went to the shelter and they had a special section for biting cases. I went and I looked. I didn't let the children go there. I said, you guys go look around over there. And Mommy's going to go just real quick and check that out. As soon as I got close to the cages, these dogs, they weren't just barking and wagging their tails or this or that. They were ready to tear me apart. You could tell. They weren't scared and no, they were ready to, going, whoa, there were about 4 of them. And I thought, why are they keeping these dogs alive? It's a weird one to me, where good dogs, sweet dogs who just don't get adopted, yes, get put down. That's no problem. But biting cases need to be rehabilitated? For what? And where are they going to get adopted? Then you have the other case where it's kind of iffy. Did this really happen? Why did this happen? Was this a case of protecting the owner from an actual threat? And these dogs are immediately rounded up and put to sleep by court order. Yet you got biting cases in shelters that are going to be rehabilitated. That's a weird one too. It's kind of upside down, isn't it? Yeah? Yes? Weird one. I said, weird stuff happening that have a clear direction when it really comes down to it. Yet, yeah. That's how confused people are out there. I'm just saying. And again, it's not for the better of the people or anything. It's literally just they have an agenda done. Yeah. Weird ones. Weird agendas. Twisted ones. So, had my say on that. People can like it or not. We are in Deuteronomy 11. Oh, one more thing the other way around, right? Where, as I've said this before, they use Switzerland as a example on how everybody has a gun at home, right? Yeah, ready to go to the ready as an army. Yeah. Yes, yeah, they do have the gun most likely, but they have no ammunition. People forget to tell that part, okay? You have to go to the center of wherever, if anything happens, they all have to show up there with their equipment, this, that, and the gun, and get the ammunition there. Now what? Okay, gotcha, right? Yes, half truths, yep, spread around, yep, trying to use another country as an example of, yet it ain't true. Okay, yep, I say that too. Deuteronomy 11, Israel's past experiences. Oh. You must love Yahweh your God and always keep his observances, his laws, his customs, his commandments. Well, there you go, goes right along with it all. You are the ones who have had the experience, not your children. They have not had the experience. They have not witnessed the lessons of Yahweh your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his outstretched arm. The signs and the deeds which he performed in the heart of Egypt against Pharaoh king of Egypt and his entire country, what he did to the armies of Egypt, to their horses and their chariots, by overwhelming them with the waters of the Sea of Reeds. It's always called the Sea of Reeds here, not the Red Sea. When they were pursuing you, and leaving no trace of them to this day, what he did for you in the desert until you are arrived here. What he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab the Reubenite, when, with all Israel standing round, the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them, with their families, their tents, and all their supporters. All these great deeds of Yahweh you have seen with your own eyes. Interesting. I mentioned that, didn't I? Don't they have the stories? Don't they tell their children these stories? Now here it comes up. Have you not had these past experiences? Your children have not. Yet, I have to say too, I mean, as they continued on through the desert, this and that, weren't there more? More of these great things happening? Don't the children also see how their nation of Israel, their family, their clan, their tribe, this, that, how they prospered? Or was that not happening? Now, past experiences needed to be what? The importance in their life? Isn't God still with them? Ah, that's okay, but again, it's one of those things where uh, not sure what to think of this. Yes, on how it is again written down as well. What is this teaching children? I'm not sure. Except for the first part where, reasons to keep the law, reasons to keep the commandments of God. We need reasons. Why do people need reasons to do something or not to do something? Interesting? Yeah, okay. Promises and warnings. When there are no apparent real consequences with bad behavior, bad decisions, this and that, then there's no need to change, is there? No reason to change. Promises and warnings. Oh, well, here we go. You must keep all the commandments which I enjoin on you today. Ingrain. I was thinking enjoin. Become a part of you. Enjoin becomes a part of you. You don't want to break any of the commandments, right? Yes? You want to just stick with that. Yes? How hard is it for someone that has an addiction and then wants to just get away from it? The first number of days, weeks are difficult, very difficult. First, there is kind of this sense of relief. I'm doing it, and I can do this, right? Then, whatever the addiction cost for them to get the whatever kicks or starts to wear off. The body finally is completely depleted from it, and then the body seems to be okay, but then this starts to cope suddenly with none of it in the system anymore. And then the real struggle starts, right? That's what I've heard from people, right? And on how difficult it is to get past that part. Almost worse than the physical part is that part. And to stay focused and strong and committed. Right? Yes? Then the person's life really starts to change. It's the same with God's laws and commandments. They've been broken in so many ways for so long. To get back to that, and it sounds like for the Israelites it wasn't any different, even at that time. So difficult to stay strong and stay with these laws, right? After hundreds of years still too, seems like, or after generations. Otherwise the warnings wouldn't be in here for the children. So ingrain on you today, so that you may have the strength to conquer the country into which you are about to cross, to take possession of it, and so that you may live long in the country which Yahweh promised on oath to bestow on your ancestors and their descendants, a country flowing with milk and honey. You know, I've been thinking about this conquering thing and all that, and obviously something was happening there, and I wonder, it becomes more and more clear to me that with the strength of having that kind of, with the to keep the laws of heaven, to keep the commandments of God, to be, God is the only one. He's the one who guides us. Done. Nobody else. Done. The strength, and it also gives you a, how do you say, the decisions being made then, right, are calculated in also God's way, right, rather than just executed in a frenzy due to what you have to do to get what you want. But being this centered in the laws of heaven, right, and with God, right, will give you, what did I say about the car? Another way to deal with things that are still then within the laws of heaven, right? Yes? So was the bloodshed all over the place with that Israel created necessary? If that would be okay, then why the continuous warnings? Why the continued mention of what? Yes? To stay in control rather than being out of control, right? That's how you protect your surroundings, your family, right? For the country which you are about to enter, make your own, is not like the country of Egypt from which you have come, where, having done your sowing, you had to water the seed by foot, as though in a vegetable garden. No, the country which you are about to enter, make your own, is a country of hills and valleys, watered by the rain of heaven. Oh, it's where I live. Yahweh your God looks after this country. The eyes of Yahweh your God are always on it, from the beginning of the year to the end. Depend on it. If you faithfully obey the commandments I enjoin on you today, loving Yahweh your God and serving him with all your heart and all your soul, I shall give your country rain at the right time, rain in autumn, rain in spring, so that you can harvest your wheat, your new wine, and your oil. Wine, your new wine. I shall provide. I'm not a big wine drinker, by the way, mainly because of all the sulfites in it, and I am allergic to that stuff, big time. So I do drink wine very sparingly, yeah, and then suffer a headache. So I'd rather not. Some wine's better than other, yeah. But I make my own. When I do, I make my own. Never have a problem. Yes, sometimes it turns into vinegar. I haven't made any in a long time, so well, so be it. I should grow my own grapes. Yes, tried that too. Takes a lot of work. Don't need the wine that bad. I shall provide grass in the fields for your cattle, and you will eat to your heart's content. Beware of letting your heart be seduced. If you go astray, serve other gods and bow down to them. What did I just say? Yahweh's anger will be kindled against you. He will shut the heavens. There will be no more rain. The soil will not yield its produce, and in the fine country given you by Yahweh, you will quickly perish. Conclusion. Let these words of mine remain in your heart and in your soul. Fasten them on your hand as a sign and on your forehead as a headband. Teach them to your children and keep on telling them when you are sitting at home, when you are out and about, when you are lying down, and when you are standing up. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, so that you and your children may live long in the country which Yahweh swore to your ancestors that he would give them for as long as there is a sky above the earth. For if you faithfully keep and observe all these commandments, then I enjoin on you today, loving Yahweh your God, following all his ways and holding fast to him, Yahweh will dispossess all these nations before you, and you will dispossess nations greater and more powerful than yourselves. Wherever the sole of your foot treads will be yours. Your territory will run from the desert all the way to the Lebanon, and from the river Euphrates as far as the western sea will be your territory. No one will be able to resist you. Yahweh your God will make you feared and dreaded throughout the territory you tread, as he has promised you. I'm tired of talking about the feared and dreaded and the this and the that. What I am getting, though, is how much fear, right, is within yourself, and how much do you dread out there when it comes to being a faithful servant to God. 100%. I saw this one little clip of this lady. She makes some really funny videos. She's like, well, this is something about me. If I'm out and about, I'm going to talk about God. You're going to have to just accept that about me. Done. No, there's no way I'm not going to do that. That's who I am. That's what I do. And God's just every day, all the time in my life. That is it. I loved it because that's what I do. And guess what? You cannot. Oh, you do that? You try that. You go out, and every time, wherever you go, right, you start talking about God. You hear this, you hear that. Well, let me tell you what God told me. Let me tell you what God's direction is. Right? And I said, every time, it doesn't matter what conversations get started, right, around me, it always ends with God. Yes? God's always becomes a part of it. Done. And guess what? 9 out of 10 people does not feel comfortable with that. Does not feel comfortable with that. So, if I would let that get to me, yes, I would be fearing and dreading to talk about God. Right? Yes? Also, people fear and dread talking about God because there are people out there who come back with very good questions you have to be ready for. Yes? So you got to be a little bit studied up on things. And not just studied up on things. Got to be practicing it. You got to have the experiences to share. Well, let me tell you what happened to me. Because, yes. And if you don't know the answer, don't try to go and make one up. Just say, well, you know what? Never thought of that. Let's study that up right now. Who doesn't have their cell phone with them? Okay, I don't have one, so I'd have to ask, let's look that up right now. Because I haven't studied that. I don't really, let's go and see if we can find an answer for that. Be honest when you don't know as well. Because then you stay credible. And guess what? That might just be the way God's watching over the people who are talking about him, this and that, in a good way, to get the other person who's asking to get started on studying, to get started, to get to know who? God. You see? So sometimes not knowing something has its reasons as well. If you're prepared to say, oh, you know what? Never thought of that. I don't really know. I've never been in that position. Let's go and study that up together and find the answer for you. You see? See how that works? Again, what I just do. Could get into an argument with, well, what does that matter? Or make up a lie that the person can also go and check out and see if it's true or not. Then you have what? A confrontation. Then it becomes a confrontation. Rather than, oh, let's go and study that up together. I don't know about that either. You see what just happened? Aha. Thou shalt not lie. No matter what it is. Thou shalt not lie about yourself. I should not lie about myself. Right? That's the first thing you do when you start to obey that commandment. So, again, people aren't afraid to be out there, and don't shove God down, force God down people's throat. Okay? It's not how it's done. Don't threaten people with things when it comes to God. Don't tell them, well, if you're not baptized, you don't do that. That's not right. You are not the judge of that out there. What you get to do is be excited about God, and that's what you show, right? Get my drift? Okay. All right. Today, look, I am offering you a blessing and a curse. How's this meant? What did I just talk about? If you really walk within the footsteps of Jesus, right? If you follow the 10 Commandments, if you truly acknowledge God as the creator of it all, including yourself, then you will be able to come up with a blessing for yourself, but more so importantly, a blessing for others by sharing. Or it can become a curse, right? Where suddenly everything gets divided, where suddenly unity has disappeared, where suddenly frustration takes over and confrontations start. Yes? Arguments start. Then there's, that's it. That's not a blessing anymore. That's a curse. Yes? Interesting difference, right? But the blessing is to find another way, right? Rather than. But you have to be very, very anchored in your belief. In a what? What does it say? God, the loving God. Get to know God that way. It's a great way to get to know God, I tell you. Oh, yeah, well, you still have to, again, sometimes you got to take a stance. That just depends, especially when it comes to your own home. And what did I say about the angel of peace and harmony? I could tell you a story there. It's interesting on how this is working here. But again, it's the better. It's for the better of everyone here. And hopefully, what could be looked at as a bit of a curse right now is going to turn into a blessing. That's an interesting story. Maybe I'll write it down someday for my children. What's been going on here? I'm impressed on how these things work. Again, yep. A blessing if you obey the commandments of Yahweh your God, which I enjoin on you today. A curse if you disobey the commandments of Yahweh your God and leave the way which today I have marked out for you by following other gods hitherto unknown to you. And when Yahweh your God has brought you into the country which you are about to enter and make your own, you must set the blessing on Mount Gerizim, and the curse on Mount Ebal. Oh, what? You must set the blessing on Mount and the curse on Mount Ebal. Oh, looks like the two do not coexist together. Oh, that's an interesting one. Must think about that. These mountains, as everyone knows, are on the other side of the Jordan on the westward road in the territory of the Canaanites who live in the Arabah, opposite Gilgal, near the oak of Moreh. For you are about to cross the Jordan to enter and take possession of the country given you by Yahweh your God. You will possess it, you will live in it, and you must keep and observe all the laws and customs promulgated by me to you today. Row. Sounded like a roar to me while I was reading it. Gotcha, Father. I know. Dear me, it's so difficult to keep people on the straight and narrow. That's the end of 11. What did that start out with? Israel's past experiences, promises, and warnings. So interesting to read through this at this time. So I'm going to end with one more thing. This is a short thing. I scroll through so much stuff. Not really, about 5 minutes, and I had it. And somehow I go, oh, look. It's usually children and pets or something. That's just beautiful, cute little things. This, that. Just a joy to see it, right? Yes? And I scroll and come across the song. There were some, I think they were called Orthodox Jews. I remember now. But they had them hats on and, I think They're so cute. The curls that they got going here, the guys. Oh my gosh, so cute. I love that. That's beautiful to me. Handsome. Yes. I know why they do it, actually. I don't know. Do I need to go and look it up? It's probably part of their religion, this and that. Or to show who they are, which type of Jews they are. Okay, whatever. But it looks cute, with their hats on. Anyway, so there were some singing. Beautiful song. Ein Kilo, Ein Mein, something like that. Oh, it was just, I listened to it several times. Such a short clip. I thought about sharing it on my Facebook page, but it's one of those things where just because oh my gosh, I just found another little piece of music that's just absolutely beautiful, shines with light. The way that the performers were performing it. Yes, I still have paint on my hands. I'm going back out to do more. That's why I didn't clean them off completely. That scrubs, all that. I'll do it all in the end. Beautiful, just an absolute one of those little pieces of music that I came across from. Who's singing it? Oh, Israel. People from Israel, right? Yes, descendants of Israel. What am I reading right now? And it's almost as if, again, so here I am. I'm very critical, aren't I, of the Old Testament, in a way, right? One should feel bad, bringing some things up and kind of pointing some stuff out. Well, I don't, because I'm not, in my heart, I don't hate these people or anything like that, but I'm not going to just dismiss what I'm coming across either, right? You see, don't be afraid. Don't dread bringing some things up. So then, of course, I wonder how the Israelites feel in spirit world when they hear me talk. And here, what was I just given? This is about helping them restore as well for some things that went on. Right? That, no doubt, they're still restoring. What's going on with Israel? What has been going on with Israel to this day? Are these people never going to be able to live in peace and harmony in their own country? Mm-hmm. Will that never happen? Will they perish? So sad to me when I hear another this or that on how these two countries there are just not finding peace and harmony together. Because of what? What is it? Exactly. Hmm? So here I come across this little absolutely beautiful song sung by all these guys who are descendants from Israel. And it almost felt like I got a thank you from Spirit World saying, no, thank you for helping us. Thank you for calling us out a little bit, but also trying to understand us. And they're okay using them as an example. Hopefully, for what? Better things here for people, alerting them what the warnings and promises are. Because for every life that finally takes that stance to commit keeping the Ten Commandments, to keeping the laws of heaven, to acknowledge the one God. And they restore and then start restoring their family, this, that as well. Guess what? Restores the Israelites as well. Huh? Yes? We are all in this together. Starting to remove the curses. Move towards the blessings. Remove the curses. Wander towards the blessings. Beautiful, isn't it? Wow. Yes. Now, that's it. I thought this was going to take a lot shorter. It would be a lot shorter. So, what a beautiful. Oh, I listened to it several times. I couldn't get enough of it. It's like it filled my heart. It filled my. I had goosebumps the first time I listened to it. It was so beautiful. What a beautiful reward, right? Yes, yes. Okay, done enough today. Got to go to the barn, take care of some things over there. Got to go to the garden. Got to paint. Got to and do it all. Okay, a little rest in between. Yeah, so that I don't fall apart. Yeah. Lots of angels helping me here with all that stuff. So wonderful. All right, God's love and blessings always. May He protect you. Right? Yes. And I will talk to you all at another time.